times. Everyone wants to know them. Now, timing gear is exactly what you need for a race. However, insurance companies tend to not like them. So on track days, you'll find that there's no timing going, and that's something we have to do ourselves. Now, you may have seen me put lap times up before, and I've done it frame by frame on the GoPro to sort of work out how fast it's gone round. At 60 frames per second, you're getting that pretty accurate. However, it's a lot of messing around, and you only know it after the fact. Introduce onboard lap timers. Now, what we have here is the Biketek fully automatic lap timer. It's what's known as a pit wall lap timer, and basically sends out an infrared beam that's picked up on this receiver on the bike. And there's a few people up at Derby that are already using these, which is, they sort of gave me their recommendations for why we'll go for this one. So we've got one. Now, I believe this is sort of a generic lap timer with different names on it. The Chicken Hawk one certainly looks exactly the same, as well as a couple of others. So at least in the UK here, we've got Biketek. The packaging is really simple. It's not one of those horrible plastic ones that you need sort of standardising chainsaws to get into. It's just on these little tabs at the bottom, and we'll pull off. Inside we have the bit that goes on your bike, the IR transmitter that goes on the pit lane or pit wall, usual instructions, and some sticky back Velcro. So this is the little receiver that will go on your bike, and obviously depending on which side the wall is on, you'll need to point that different ways so that it faces towards the pit lane wall. As far as these transmitters go, you only need one of them. So as I said, there's already a couple of these timers being in use at Derby, so as long as one beacon's on, you leave that, otherwise you'd get weird lap times between the things. It's effectively a timer that gets triggered by an infrared beam and sets off and goes round and goes round. It does say on here, I think it holds 99 laps, is it? 64 laps, 99 minute memory. So plenty on there. You're going to run out of fuel really before then. So we'll go downstairs and stick it on the bike. Right, so we've got two parts to this really. We need to mount this somewhere that's not in the way of anything I need to see, but is also sort of visible. I'm possibly thinking on here. Would that work on there? If we can keep it out of the way. And the second part is where to mount the receiver that we can easily swap from both sides. And obviously it has to not be restricted by me when I'm on the bike, because if I'm blocking the beam, it's not going to pick up. I was thinking if we get it down on the front here somewhere and point it sort of the same way, that way we only need one set of the Velcro and we can just swap it round perpendicular. I think that would pick up, wouldn't it? Run the cable under the nose, as long as it's not going to get in the way of anything. So we'll have an experiment and see what we can do. Excuse the mess of a toolbox at the minute, but hey ho. Now what we've got here is no real mounting options, so I think what I'm going to try is good old cable ties, as long as they're not going to interfere with the button. Go on there, and it should, if it sits up against that button there, got my big thumb in the way, up against that, because the buttons sit proud, it should, one on either side, stop it sliding. So we'll give that a go, see how it works. I see, that bracket is, the bracket is bent. Obviously I don't want to fold that over. Nope, let's try something else. Got a new plan. I'm going to do what I do best and take things apart and see if there's room to mount something on here, you know, a little teeny tiny bracket, or even just a screw with a washer that could go through that brake bracket and would hold it on. Obviously we don't want to poke any of the internal bits. Do with a screwdriver that fits. Right, so I think I've figured it. It sits here. We've actually already got that screw hole there. I can maybe find a longer screw and a bit of a washer to hold on the back of here. It's going to be a teeny tiny screw, unless we can make that hole a little bigger. Right, I finally have a plan. So what I'm going to do is I've got this really like dome-headed nut which sits lower than the posts on here, so it's not going to contact this board. So what I'm going to do is put a little hole in the back of here so we can thread this through and have it stick out the back. Not that far obviously, and then we'll be able to mount that straight through there with a little washer and it'll grab on. So first of all, I have to cut down this nut because it's just huge and unnecessary. Come on, get back. When cutting down bolts, it's always good to put a nut on. That'll mean that it will clean the threads. You'll be able to take it off and it'll sort of clean the threads a little bit. Now, just because this is so small and I don't want my hand so close to an angle grinder, what I'm going to do is just bolt it onto here. And that gives me a nice handle to hold while I'm cutting. Yeah, and we have threads that work. Cool. Now, let's drill a hole. So there we go, that is well in there with Q-bond and the reinforcing powder, and this stuff is crazy strong. I've actually got a mallet that I snapped in half beating a Range Rover hub. I stuck it back with Q-bond and it's still going on. Probably 3 years down the line, 2 of which were still going on in garages. So, mad. They should also double up as weatherproofing and stop any moisture getting in because it's all liquid down and sealed in like madness. So we'll pop this on with a washer and a nylock nut. There she is. So that's all bolted on there. And the receiver I've got right at the front. Now this has to be 90 degrees, and what we've got on there is like sticky back Velcro thing, and just up here I've got a cable tie going to the wire just in case this fails. It'll only dangle around here, and then we'll just tidy up this wiring. And that's about it really. So we will see how accurate this is in 3 days. 3 days compared to transponder, because we have to have transponders for racing. So in a couple of days, but for you it will be in a couple of seconds, we will compare this to official ACU timing. Let's see what it does. Once we come back through the session, as you'd expect with only 4 buttons, it's really easy to have a look through our times. As we can see, the best one here was a 120.55, and the official ACU timing, well, that was a 120.575, 2 hundredths of a second, and I wasn't kidding about being in with the fast boys.